trick familiar to golfers to kill the forward momentum of his bombs. Backspin.
Watching a golf ball spin onto a green and watching it back up must be pretty inspirational when you want to get a bomb to spin the same way that it does on a green down the surface of a dam and underwater.
Wallace added a pin to the firing mechanism of his catapult to make the ball spin backwards. He then moved his entire operation to a top-secret facility that housed a giant water tank. Now, Wallace could take aim at a solid target. As he had predicted, his bomb would bounce back from the dam wall, but then backspin would push it forward again. It would hug the wall until 30 feet down, water pressure would cause it to explode. Wallace began drawing up plans for his bomb, but he was still unsure a massive ball of steel would bounce when dropped from a moving airplane. His team built half-size, non-explosive prototypes. They outfitted a plane with a special rig to spin them. Wallace then took to the air in the bomb aimer's seat and let one go. After 3 years on the drawing board, Wallace's vision became a reality. The dummy bomb bounced. Now Wallace was ready to test the real thing. For this, he needed the Lancaster, the biggest aircraft in the Bomber Command Armory. He sent his plans to its commander, Sir Arthur Bomber Harris. Harris was not impressed.
This is tripe of the wildest description. There are so many ifs and ands that there's not the smallest chance of its working.
Wallace was undeterred. He got an appointment with Harris, confident that if he could explain the science, he could win the man over. Harris had a healthy mistrust of civilian inventors who thought they could save the day with their outlandish schemes. But Wallace presented proof that his idea was sound. The film of the latest trial clinched it. Harris promised Wallace 3 Lancaster bombers, but he also imposed a rigid timetable. The raid on the dams was to be conducted in 12 weeks, when the reservoirs would be swollen with spring rain. The challenge was daunting. They had only 3 months to pull together an unprecedented mission. The Royal Air Force rushed to assemble a squadron from scratch. 147 men were hand-picked and told to report to Scampton Air Force Base on the east coast of England. When the members of Squadron 617 first reached the base, they found no one who could tell them about their mission. Everything seemed to be in disarray. Among the first to arrive was Canadian pilot Ken Brown.
No one knew of a new squadron being formed there. They didn't have any aircraft. They didn't even have parachutes. They were gracious enough to say you can stay in one of the old married quarters until we find out where you belong.
it was more like a Commonwealth squadron. We had all kinds of Canadians, American, the other one from New Zealand, Borneo. You know, it was quite different from any squadron I'd ever been on before.
The only American was pilot Joe McCarthy, a former Coney Island lifeguard who had enlisted in the Canadian Air Force when the U.S. was still neutral. McCarthy passed away in 1998, but his son Joe Jr., also a pilot, flies into Scampton to learn about his father's experiences at the base.
I think everybody likes to know something of their ancestry or their past and what's gone on. It was just really a good chance, a good opportunity to come over here and find a little bit more about them.
Johnny Johnson, McCarthy's bomb aimer for 4 years, gives Joe a guided tour.
This one, of course, you do know.
Of course.
Yes. That's me, as I was then, young, good-looking, and what have you. Changed a bit since then, but never mind. I almost looked at, I was going to say looked on him as a father figure, not quite true, but certainly as an older brother. I had the feeling that he was sort of protecting me.
Well, he was that kind of person. That,
oh, yes, indeed,
you know.
yes. As I say, I shall be eternally grateful because on 40 occasions he took me out, and on 40 occasions he brought me back. If we got into trouble, and well, we didn't do it very often, but when we got into trouble, he managed to get us out of it.
Though the average age of the men chosen for the mission was only about 20, they were among the most highly decorated Allied flyers. The most experienced man of all was their commanding officer, Guy Gibson, who had 170 operations under his belt. At 24, Gibson was already a legend. But he hardly endeared himself to the other men of the squadron.
A little man with quite a big opinion of himself. But after all, he had done an awful lot more than any of the rest of us. I would say he probably had the right to be a bit self-important.
If you were an officer, a captain, Gibson calls you by your first name. I had the exalted rank of a flight sergeant at this time. My name was Brown.
He had a personality which was, well, I would say it was zero. He stuck to himself most of the time. Him and his dog.
Gibson's men might not have liked him, but he was their leader. He was not given details about the impending mission, but was told that he had to get his men completely comfortable flying at the dangerously low level of 150 feet. So on their first day of flight training, 21 crews, 7 men to a plane, followed Gibson into the sky with some trepidation.
None of them, as far as I could make out anyway, had done any low-level flying.